Hello everyone, this is Humble, and today we'll be talking about Suzy AI. And sorry if I sound a bit low right now, and if I fumble a bit. I don't have a script, so I'll be, doing everything right off the top of my head. So please excuse any kind of mistakes that I commit. Apparently, this is just a screencast. So before we actually talk code, let's kind of get a background about everything, so we can get an idea of what I'm trying to explain and why I'm trying to explain, right? So firstly, this is the organization with which I have been involved for roughly 2.5 months, I guess. It's known as Fossasia, and as you can see on their website, it is apparently quite a large organization, given the fact that a large number of people are involved in the projects that they have created. Good stuff. And they have quite a number of projects which might interest you apparently. PS Lab happens to be a trending one. Suzy is an old one, but it has some promising, I would say, output in the near future. Neurolab is also one promising project, and there are many more to try. So yeah, you can go ahead and check this out. I'll put the link in the description. So with that out of the way, let's get down to the actual stuff that we'll be talking about in this video. So first and foremost, like when you get started with open source, when you plan to start with open source, you have to pick a project, and there is no right project for beginner or anything like that. You just have to start with something and you just get the hang of it, that's all. So I apparently started with Chat Suzy AI apparently because I was good with React and all things React. So I started with Chat Suzy AI. Then I looked for other projects that required knowledge of React. So I came across the CMS repository, which also used React. Then I came across the account repository that also uses React. So let's do a DFS as compared to a BFS. So let's go for the Chat repository. So like every beginner, my pull requests were 0 when I started, but now I've got myself some traction after spending a lot of time, and for now, at least in this repository, I have 35 pull requests, so which is like quite a good number, I would say. And same goes for the other repository. So one big tip for everyone who is starting to contribute is that you have to be persistent. You cannot just expect your pull requests to get merged right away, and you have to be patient because this is open source, yeah. So no one is getting paid to review your pull request, no one is getting paid to merge your pull request, so they are doing it out of their own free will. So you have to give them time, you have to have patience, and only then you can expect some success out of your contributions. So how do you get started? Yeah, so the readme is quite descriptive on its own, but like the best way to get, the most basic way of getting started is to fork the repository. I won't be doing a fork because I already have a fork on my account. So you click this button right here and you go to your profile. Actually, it will redirect you to your profile once the fork has been done. So as you can see, this is the fork which has been created from the main repository. It shares the same name, but it is under your repository. Your account. So then you're supposed to clone this, and I won't be showing the whole process of open source because I have created a dedicated video for this very purpose. So if you want, you can surely go ahead and check that out. So yeah, you pretty much get started from there on. So you start spotting bugs. So the bug report should be done in the main repository. So here you raise issues and then you submit pull requests. So it's that simple. So let's check out the code. Maybe I'm not sure if you guys will be able to understand the code right away because need to have a little bit of background on React and JavaScript to understand what's going on, but why the hell not? So let me quickly show you what I have done so far. Like the best way to get started with any project is to I would say start refactoring the code. So when I joined in, the repository was kind of stable. We were about to transition to Redux. Before that, we were using the Flux state management system. So we planned on moving to Redux. So before that could be done, we decided to refactor the whole repository. So most of my initial PRs are related to refactoring, as you can see. So yeah, one more thing, don't submit a PR without creating an issue. That's not the way it is done. Apparently this PR, I submitted it without filling in any details or anything. So that's a big no-no. Don't do that. So as you can see, after that I have submitted tons of PRs which just do refactoring. It is an important process and it can be considered a good contribution if you are able to clean up the code that someone else has written and converting it to a more readable, developer-friendly code. So that's one thing to be done. So then the Redux integration was started. So my mentor, he created the an initial Redux setup, and he started with this file, and this file. So if you know how Redux works, then you'll be able to pretty much catch it on right away. So you have some action types and there are actions. So actions dispatch action types, and the reducers catch these actions and make changes to the global store accordingly. The reducers are pure functions, as you might have heard or read in the documentation of Redux, and that's it, pretty much simple. Yeah. So after that, all you have to do is integrate the components one by one, and depending on the needs of the components, you add in actions, you add in action types, you add in reducers. So I wrote this file. The whole messaging system was integrated into Redux by me, so that took a lot of time. I'm currently working on the settings part, but apparently I'm stuck because I've requested a feature from the backend so that this settings part could be done in a more smooth and secure manner. See, explaining code is something that I am not very fond of doing, because if you don't know the history of all this, you won't be able to understand anything. And as this is not a tutorial video, I will try to avoid any explanation of code. I'll try to give a gist of everything so that you know what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to achieve here. So then there are tons of changes like converting, like making optimizations. For example, if you go right here, so this is a subtle optimization that I did. Red and high. Sorry, my okay. That seems to be an interesting bug. Never mind. We'll start our own server. CD projects, gsock, start. Start. Oops. Excuse me. My browser is running a bit slow because I've started this recording software in the background process, so excuse any delays. So while it's loading, let's talk a bit about the optimization that I actually did. So there is this thing called re-rendering, which is usually done by the React library. So when there's a change in state, the React library usually, not usually, this is how it works. When there is a change in state, the whole view is re-rendered. I mean, that particular component is re-rendered. So this part, which I optimized, is when you scroll, initially every time you scrolled, this whole thing was being re-rendered. Just something undesirable and could have been avoided. So I made changes so that only when you reach the end, I mean touch this end part, or when you touch the upper end of this whole scroll thing, only then a re-render process will be started. So that's one optimization that I did. Then I refactored these message boxes, and there are a couple of more changes that I did. So the whole thing is running quite smooth now. This whole message composer was also refactored later on, integrated to Redux, and it was pretty much fun. So the same thing was again carried on to the CMS repository, and again I started from zero in this repository, and I would say I made a bit of progress here as well. Oops. 25 here, yeah. As you can see, again I started with refactoring, then slowly moving towards integration of different features, making non-functional features functional, removing bugs from the console, and integration of Redux. And I mean, it's kind of repetitive because all of the three repositories are pretty much doing the same thing. And then there's account, which is again here I haven't been able to contribute too much because I was busy with the Redux integration on the other two repositories. So here also I've started with refactoring, but I'll slowly move towards Redux integration. I'll be the one who will be initiating here. I've opened an issue, I've claimed that part at least, initial Redux store setup, so I'll be doing that. And there are a couple of side projects that I'm also involved in. I mean, they are not the main repositories that I contribute to. So one of them is Susper. This is the front end of the decentralized search engine that the people of Fossasia have built. I'm not sure about that. It's called the YC Grid, and this whole repository has been written in Angular, a framework that I kind of hate because of its complexity. So anyway, it's also interesting if you are into Angular. I have made a few pull requests here, but I'm not that active in this repository. But yeah, I try to help out people who need, damn it, sorry, who might need my help. 8 pull requests, yeah, that's kind of okay. And then there is the Firefox bot. So apparently I wrote a Firefox bot, add-on a few months back. So I thought maybe it would be a good idea to help them out here as well. So I think I have, 5 pull requests here. 4, okay, okay, I haven't done much here. There are a few more repositories that you can try out, but that's totally up to you, up to your interests. So I guess that's it. And if you have any questions regarding how to contribute and what to do, which resources to consult, how to use Git, yeah, that's one more important point to note, is that you should know how to use Git. You don't have to memorize every command, and you don't have to know everything. Just have to know the basics and the right commands. When to use what. That comes with experience, but of course you can learn from others' mistakes as well. So that's one thing you should keep in mind. And with that, I think I'm pretty much done here. So yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. Tata, bye bye.